Hello, my friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Bxb'S bonus babble for Saturday, the 22nd of July. It's quiet. It's a quiet time of year. It's summertime. There aren't a lot of big releases, though. Before you know it, we will be inundated. But what that has meant is this week, the main thing I've been playing, other than Marvel Heroes Omega, which I will get to in a little bit, is the Destiny 2 beta. And I've been playing that with my wife, and I've been playing that with some friends. And basically, if you, unless you're living under a rock, you've heard that this was coming out. This has been talked about everywhere. This is the big thing for this week, more than anything, really. Bigger than any other really video game release that's coming out. It's been good. It's been more Destiny. Now, I am an unashamed Destiny fan. I've put probably, if not hundreds, thousands of hours into the original Destiny, despite its flaws, of which there were many, of which many were fixed as time went along. And Destiny 2, the beta thus far, is very much a continuation of the improvements, the incremental improvements that were seen within Destiny 1 from the Taken King to Rise of Iron. Specifically, though, the Taken King, because the creative lead of that DLC is the creative lead on Destiny 2, which is Luke Smith, formerly of 1UP and the 1UP show and things like that on the internet back in the earlier 2000s. That's definitely where I know him from, though I imagine most people don't really know him from that at all anymore, just thinking of him as the Destiny guy, the Bungie guy. However, the beta, it consists of a large chunk of story stuff at the beginning. Let me get into this. There's a strike in there, and then there's two competitive multiplayer modes on two separate maps. It's not a huge amount in there. Let me just, my personal thoughts on this beta. The story, super good. Really affected me way more than I thought it would. The fact that you see the Traveler in dire straits, that the tower that you know so well as the social space from Destiny has been is being destroyed, it is in ruins, it is on fire, that these major quest-giving characters are in trouble, and then the way the actual story mission ends, I don't want to spoil it. You've still got a few hours to play the beta. It's open until tomorrow as of recording, which is this Sunday. So if you can get a chance, it's open now. So it started off on PS4 closed, and then the Xbox One closed beta if you had your pre-orders, and now it's open to everyone this weekend. And I will point out as well, it's a free multiplayer weekend right now, happening right now on Xbox. So you can get in there, you can try out Destiny 2. Great timing on the part of Microsoft. They're trying to obviously get some people playing Destiny on their platform. Really smart move. And I think it's worth checking out. This game is vastly improved. We've got proper narrative, we've got proper story, we've got NPCs giving dialogue, you've got cutscenes. These are things that were basically almost entirely missing when Destiny first launched a few years ago. Things were improved, like I said, as DLC came out, but things as they stand now with the Destiny 2 beta are really, really strong. The strike's fun. It incorporates some of the platforming and puzzle mechanics more commonly found in the raids in the original Destiny, and they're bringing those elements into the strikes, into the normal kind of gameplay loop, which I think is a smart move. And I even enjoyed the multiplayer. I forget how much I like Destiny multiplayer. The combination of powers with gunplay, and the gunplay is just second to none in Destiny. It is the best feeling first-person shooter out there. It feels fantastic. Bungie knows how to do that, and they've nailed it once again. And in this two new multiplayer modes, it's basically Destiny 2. It's all going to be 4v4 multiplayer now, stepping back from the 6v6 that we found in a lot of the modes in Destiny 1. And in these two multiplayer modes, you have Control, and you have this bomb defusal type game. And then Control, you've known it, you've played it before in other first-person shooters. It's a slower, less intense form of multiplayer. It's a way of always knowing where your opponents are, because they're always on those control points. You can always find somewhere to engage. You can always find someone to get involved with combat. And I found it quite easy and quite fun to play. This other mode, this kind of capture and diffusing of the bomb thing, it's basically you get one life. It's multiple short rounds. And you have to either plant the bomb or defend from the bomb being planted. Now, what I like about modes like this is there's the risk and reward factor, which makes people play a bit differently, knowing you've only got one life. And there's also the tactical elements of having multiple places to plant and defend at the same time. So you can do things like dummy. So you can send your team down one way, 3 guys go one way to draw the opponents. This actually happened in a multiplayer game I played with just a bunch of randoms. So they went down one way. I went to plant the bomb in the other location. So obviously their gunfight drew all their opponents to them, so left me completely open to plant the bomb. Now, when the bomb started planting, that then drew the enemy team towards the bomb, distracting them, enabling my team to wipe them and for us to win the round. Now, this was a strategy you didn't really get in the original Destiny's multiplayer modes. So I imagine playing with 3 other people that you know well, cooperating. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a tactical kind of multiplayer, which I could see myself being drawn to. Now, there's some balance problems definitely happening in the beta, but that's why it's a beta. We've got like things like heavy weapon ammo isn't dropping maybe as frequently as it should. And in the multiplayer, your supers and your recharges for your grenades and your abilities seem very, very slow. So I think some tweaking needs to be done in that, but that's fine. This feedback is being given. Bungie are listening, and I think this beta proves how much Bungie have listened throughout the intervening years since release. And, they are trying to make the Destiny that people really want to see. And that has me excited. I can't wait for September the 6th to roll around and to get my hands on it. It's going to be a really, really cool experience. Now, besides the Destiny 2 beta, I've been playing yet more Marvel Heroes Omega. And it seems like we talk about this on just about every podcast over the last sort of like 2 months since the beta happened on PlayStation. Then we had the Xbox release, and now I'm talking about it yet again. And that's because it's a painfully accessible game. I mean, how can you not enjoy this game? The reason I'm bringing it up now is that I just got my first character level 60, and I've already started on another character. And another character, which I'll be doing on the streams, so please check them out. There's going to be another one of those soon. I've only got one up so far, but we're experimenting with streaming. We're listening to the feedback. We're trying to do that. But I got my blade up to level 16. I've just started on a Scarlet Witch, and already I'm in the mid-20s with that character. And it's just so much fun, and I can't recommend it enough, honestly. Gazillion have made a really good game here. They've just brought out the first sort of big post-release patch, which has brought in some new features and a new event. The Daily Bugle stuff to tie into Spider-Man Homecoming stuff with the Sinister Six, which is cool because you have the movie version of the Vulture to fight at the end of it, which is really good fun. We've got a new character as well with this patch. So it's definitely, this is what I wanted to see. This is what I want to see. Post-release support, patches improving stability, patches improving the inventory system, and that's all being brought in, and things are getting better, recognizably improved with every iteration of the game that's so far coming out. And as long as Gazillion support it, I will keep playing it. This game is a lot of fun, and I recommend you check it out because it's free. Why wouldn't you check it out? It's free. I also put up a couple of reviews this week. The first one I brought up was Lethal League, the brand new release on consoles for a game that's come out in 2014 on PC, as I mentioned in my review. Yeah, it has been around a while, but it's a damn good game. It's a fighting game in which you don't directly fight each other. You hit a ball at each other, hence the Lethal League. It's like a play on baseball, and you smack this ball around the screen at incredible speeds when it gets going, and then you got to try and hit that into your opponent. And this can be 2-on-2 or 4-on-4 crazy mayhem, or teams of 2 against teams of 2. Now, obviously, it's predominantly a multiplayer game. There is single-player element in there. And the problem I had with the multiplayer is there's not a lot of people playing it on Xbox. I don't know about PlayStation, but where I played it was Xbox, and there's just not a lot of people to matchmake. But I think if you got 3 other guys with you or girls with you, playing it local, this game is an amazing, amazing competitive game. It's got amazing art style, fantastic visuals, great soundtrack. It's really kinetic, really intense. And if you're going to get some people together to play it, I highly recommend it. I was also playing Serial Cleaner, which I think I talked about in the previous episode of Bxb'S Bits and Bobs. Sadly, I plugged away at this quite a lot more. I got a lot further into the game. I finished it. That difficulty is a real turn-off to me. The fact that you can spend a lot of time in these levels, and then you can just die from one hit instantly and get reset, and your progress gets reset, and you have to do the whole thing again, is really frustrating. It's a shame, because if it wasn't tweaked a bit better, a little bit more accessible, I think the game would have a massive audience. As it is, with that art style being so good and the soundtrack again being so compelling to the era that it's setting, it's such a shame that I can't recommend this game more fully, because it's just too difficult. It just isn't fun when the level of frustration it can create on a moment-to-moment basis. It's such a shame. I really would love to recommend that game more highly. I really would. Also, we've had some news this week. I mean, I think there was some news a couple of weeks, but we didn't talk about it on Bits and Bobs, but I wanted to talk about it today because there's been some more follow-up stories about it. The news that Sports Direct bought like 20-odd% of Game. Sports Direct and Game. That's so strange, isn't it? Because you think of Sports Direct, they're the guys that, they make your football shirts, and sell your football shirts and your sport and apparel. It's kind of the antithesis of what gamers do, which is sit in their living room or their basement or whatever and try to avoid going outside and doing anything in sort of to do with physical activity. I know that's how I roll. So it was quite strange to me when I heard about that news. And let's also bear in mind, this is Sports Direct, who have a lot of controversy around them. The guy in charge, it's not a nice man, and he's been paying people, you know, there was a lot of scandal over him paying people under the minimum wage, you know, in the UK, and that's really shady. These are people that have struggled with their bottom line, with their profits on a regular basis, that are famous for treating their staff badly. And the poor guys at Game, I did my time at Game many years ago, and there's a lot of passionate people that work for Game until you get to the management level anyway. And you know, for them to be treated as badly as they have been over the years, to have us come so close to bankruptcy on multiple occasions. It happened when I worked there; they nearly went under, and it's happened multiple times since. And it's amazing that that company still exists in any shape or form, and it's not surprising that they're willing to let this investment come in from such a dodgy source, because they probably are in desperate need. And I know there were some financial results recently as well where they've been struggling as well, even with the hardware releases of the Switch and the PSVR and things like that. Maybe the Xbox One X later on in the year will help them, but I think that their days are numbered. And let's be honest, brick and mortar retail in general, the days are numbered. People shop online now, you get better deals, you get amazing service. It usually arrives you can get most stuff to arrive the next day or at least that week. So why go through these awful things? I mean, there's just been this news story that Game are forcing people to buy the Splatoon bundle of the Nintendo Switch with a whole bunch of other shit like controllers or other games that you don't want. But if you go in to a shop or online, you have to buy it with that stuff. They've been told by their head office they are not allowed to sell that console, which is the Nintendo Switch neon colors with Splatoon bundled in by itself. You are not able to buy it as is. You have to buy it with their extra stuff, which takes the price up to around £500, which is a lot more expensive than, you know, what the RRP is for that item. And yet they are forcing people to do that. You know, it's not great. And I feel sorry for the guys on the front lines. I feel sorry for those sales assistants and those advisors who are on there talking to the customers, trying to get those upsells, trying to get those things put through the till, because that's what their jobs depend on. And they're being given these extra roadblocks, which I think is totally unfair and unreasonable. And, you know, you're asking for more money from people that are probably already scrimping and saving to get the bare minimum sort of console for their kids or for themselves. You know, things aren't that easy right now financially for anybody. And yeah, okay, Nintendo Switch is the luxury item. The option is always just not to buy it, and I understand that. But at the same time, forcing people to buy these extras, you know, it was always heavily recommended. You always tried to upsell back in the day when I worked there. I remember when I worked there, it was all about trying to get people to buy the shitty GameWare third-party accessories, the sleeves and controllers and stuff that weren't official, because that's where the margins were. That's where the extra money could be made. But yeah, 26% of Game is now owned by Sports Direct. So let's see how that works out. You know, maybe that'll keep them going. Maybe that's just another nail in the coffin for that company. And I suspect more likely it's the latter. Another bit of news, Doom 2016, my game of last year. It should have been Bxb Games' a game of last year, but I had to compromise for Inside. A very good game, but I still think Doom's better. But I love Doom. I absolutely adore Doom. But I never bought the season pass for the multiplayer content because I didn't. That's not why I was playing Doom, you know, for the multiplayer. But what the guys at Bethesda have just done with the patch 6.66, brilliantly numbered, guys, love it. They have made all of that multiplayer content free. So all that stuff that was in the season pass is now going to be incorporated into the multiplayer game. And they've completely changed the leveling up system and how you achieve the different unlocks and stuff like that. Completely restructured the multiplayer. It's really cool to see Bethesda, you know, evolving the gaming platform that they've got there with Doom, because they've looked at it and gone, right, horribly splintered user base on multiplayer. Nobody's playing multiplayer, and this is true. Nobody was playing. I could never get a game recently at all, because maybe it's because I didn't have the season pass, or maybe it's just because nobody was playing it. But whatever reason, they've done this. They've got it in the headlines. They've got people turning on Doom again. It was being sold. I think there was like a free weekend or a very cheap weekend for the game across all platforms happening right now, I believe. And you can buy the game really, really cheap right now as well. Just to get people back in there, to get another sort of hit of users in there. It is a fantastic game, like truly amazing game. I cannot recommend it enough. And at the price it is right now, with what they've done with the season pass now, it's perfect. It's perfect. If you don't own this game already, for Christ's sake, buy it. Frankly, buy it again. Buy it on a platform you don't have it on and get the achievements or the trophies you don't have. Do it all again. Why not? It's one of the best campaigns, and now they're making the multiplayer even better. I love it. That's amazing. Well done, Bethesda. Clap to you guys. I've also picked up a couple of things from PlayStation Network as well this week. I got Yakuza 0 on sale at the very, very, very end of like their big in Japan sale in the EU. And I know this game's meant to be amazing. I know previous Bxb'S editor Mark absolutely adores this game and has been raving about it for months and has been trying to get me to pick it up. And I finally caved. And Christ knows when I'm going to play it, though. I mean, things are quiet right now. Maybe I'll try and fit some in right now before the big releases start happening in a couple of weeks' time. But I don't know. It's sat on my hard drive. I desperately want to give it a go. It seems unique and weird and wonderful and brilliant. I can't wait to try it out. I also pre-ordered Pyre, which is the new Supergiant Games game that's coming out on PlayStation. Now, I might well get a free copy of Pyre for review. That is possible. I might give it to someone else. I might not get one. I don't care because it's Supergiant. And I have loved everything they have put out since moment one. This is their third game. The first game was Bastion. Amazing game. One of the greatest arcade games that ever came out on the 360 and is now available on Xbox One as well and PlayStation and everything, I believe. If you've not played Bastion, I highly recommend it. It's basically this love letter to action, platformy RPG game type things from the sort of SNES era. It's beautiful. It's got this amazing voice narration. It's fantastic. Then along came Transistor, which is another fantastic soundtrack, really innovative type of gameplay, trying new things. And now we've got Pyre, which I'm still not sure exactly what this game is. It seems to be some kind of like ritualistic, mythologically driven competitive sport game, but I don't exactly know. It's a massive RPG as well, with a cast of characters that far dwarfs anything they've done before. But yeah, I mean, other than it's Supergiant, and I love the guys over there that work on the team, and I love the music they make and everything they do. I don't really know much about it other than it's coming out next week. I've pre-ordered it. I'm sure I'll talk about it on Bits and Bobs on Saturday, a week today. However, right now I don't know what it is other than if you love Supergiant like I do, support them. It's 10% off on PlayStation, I think, for pre-orders right now. You know, it's not going to be an expensive game anyway, and I'd be very surprised if it's anything less than excellent because of their pedigree. But we will see. I think that brings us to the end of this bonus babble. I don't think it's been very long. I've gone through a bunch of things, but it's been quite quiet this week, so I don't have a huge amount of stuff to recap. Other than, yeah, if you can, get on the Destiny 2 beta right now. Like I said, free multiplayer weekend is happening right now on Xbox Live, so it might well be worth taking advantage of that. Check it out. I guess, do you know what I'm going to close on? I'm going to close on a piece of news that had my wife shouting, "Fucking yes," when I told her. And that is the news that Aaron Flynn, the managing director, I think was his title, of BioWare, has stepped down. Now, why would my wife be so happy about that? I mean, yeah, Andromeda was disappointing. She was just as disappointed, if not more disappointed than most. You know, but she's not the kind of person to celebrate somebody losing their job or having to quit their job, you know, in a cloud of shame. No, she was cheering because of who's replacing him. And that's a gentleman called Casey Hudson. Now, to a lot of people who aren't maybe massively immersed in the video games sort of ethos like I am, you know, who's Casey Hudson, you know? You don't necessarily know. Everybody doesn't necessarily know the creative forces behind projects. Now, Casey Hudson was the creative director, the force behind the Mass Effect trilogy, possibly the greatest series of games ever created. Mass Effect 2, game of the generation on the 360, as decided by the very important panel of judges that were the Brit-Xbox people, me, Richard, and Mark back in the day. Now, Mass Effect 2 is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of the series, and to have Casey Hudson return to BioWare after leaving about 3 years ago to pursue some stuff at Microsoft, he's come back, he seems reinvigorated. He was the guy that also came up with the Anthem concept and was working on that as well before leaving. So he's going to come back, he's going to shepherd that. Maybe he can fight the good fight of Mass Effect at EA and bring that franchise back from the edge of destruction, which is where Andromeda left it. Maybe we'll get DLC. Maybe we'll get an Andromeda sequel. Who knows? It's way too early to say right now. But the hope is that Casey Hudson will fight the good fight for BioWare and not let EA destroy it like it has so many of the studios that it's acquired over the years. There's so many of the franchises that it's acquired and then driven into the ground. The first one that comes to mind for me is Dead Space. Fantastic series of games. I think that was actually an EA original game from internal. But, you know, they messed that property up. They took it in the wrong direction. No more Dead Space games. Fantastic game, especially the second one, but now we have no more. So, you know, EA has a reputation for doing this to games, and my hope is that Casey Hudson will hold on to BioWare and bring back some of that amazing talent and creativity that we saw from that Mass Effect series, from the Knights of the Old Republic, from the Old Republic, from so many of their brilliant games, from Jade Empire. Oh, I love Jade Empire. I'd love a sequel to Jade Empire. That'd be fantastic. But let's see what he can do, because my fingers are well and truly crossed that this man can save BioWare. No pressure, Casey. None at all. It's a breeze. Just sit back, enjoy your time. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So with that, we're going to wrap up this bonus babble. We'll be back next week. Please head over to bxbgames.co.uk to see all the latest news, reviews, podcasts, and whatever else we decide to do. Get over to iTunes, rate and review us. Follow us on Twitter at BxbGames. Follow us on Facebook at BxbGames. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Guess where? BxbGames. So by all means, find us on all these social medias. Hit us up. Also, still looking for new contributors. We've always got Xbox. We've always got PlayStation and PC codes. I'm always looking for more people to cover stuff and bring their unique voice to our little family here at Bxb Games, because we're very small and we'd love to grow it a little bit and, you know, start expanding a bit and try new things. So by all means, hit me up personally on social media, or go to one of the official channels. I'm DIYE on Twitter. You know, so hit me up there, drop me a line, message me on Facebook, message the Facebook page for BXB. However you want to get in touch, I will see it. And I will speak to you, and we'll, you know, see what we can do. You know, it's always fun to talk about and to play video games. See you soon.